Hey guys, welcome to Two Guys, One Bible, where two idiots read the Bible cover to cover and don't know how to pronounce things. My name's Jay.
And I'm Cameron.
And let's get into it.
All right, well, today we're going to be starting with Genesis 12. We both sat here and read Genesis 1 through 11 for about an hour and didn't record any of it. So we're just going to pick up here. We're down here with Abram. Promises to Abram in Genesis 12. And before we start, you want to go and tell people a little bit about us, Jay?
I am a musician, composer, teacher, singer-songwriter extraordinaire that you've never heard of. And
for good reason.
Yeah, you wanna tell us a little bit about yourself, Cameron?
Yeah. My name's Cameron Merrill Allman. I'm here with Jay. Known each other for a couple of years. We've been working on a music company together. I'm COO, and also living right now with him as his caretaker. Because I'm an idiot and I
broke my legs and my arm.
And that's all we have to say about that.
Yeah. So, moving on. Happy quarantine, everybody.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's feeling good. Got the protection of God on our sides.
Yes, sir. So let's get into it.
Without further ado, let's check in on Abram.
Yep.
So now the Lord had said to Abram, "Get out of your country, from your family, and from your father's house, to a land that I will show you. I will make you a great nation, and I will bless you, and I will make your name great, and you shall be a blessing."
Now the name thing's been really important.
Yeah, because back at the Tower of Babel, they said that they wanted to make a name for themselves, and God struck them down. And now here, you see that to have a name made for you is a blessing bestowed upon you, not something that you're supposed to seek for yourself.
Exactly.
Because you're not supposed to be seeking self-gratification and self-glory.
Yeah, and that's a cool thought.
Yeah, I think that's very important.
Let's keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. "And you shall be a blessing. I will bless those who you bless, and I will curse him who curses you. And in you all the families of the earth shall be blessed." So Abram departed as the Lord had spoken to him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed from Haran. Then Abram took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their possessions that they had gathered, and the people whom they had acquired in Haran, and they departed to go to the land of Canaan. So they came to the land of Canaan. Abram passed through the land to the place of Shechem. Gonna go with Shechem. As far as the terebinth tree of Moreh. And the Canaanites were in the land. Then the Lord appeared to Abram and said, "To your descendants I will give this land." And there he built an altar to the Lord who had appeared to him. And he moved from there to the mountain east of Bethel. And he pitched his tent with Bethel on the west and Ai on the east. And there he built an altar to the Lord and called on the name of the Lord. So Abram journeyed, going on still toward the south.
All right.
So it's all a journey. It's a long journey. Nobody promised that this was going to be easy. Now there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down to Egypt to dwell there, for the famine was severe in the land. And it came to pass that he was close to entering Egypt, and he said to Sarai his wife, "Indeed, I know you are a woman of beautiful countenance. Therefore it will happen when the Egyptians see you that they will say, 'This is his wife,' and they will kill me, but they will let you live. Please say you are my sister, that it will be well with me for your sake, and that I may live because of you." That's wild to me. He, in a certain sense, he kind of forsaked his wife there because he was too scared to face what other people would do if he stood for his family.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of interesting. Let's see how that works out for him.
Yeah.
So it was when Abram came into Egypt that the Egyptians saw the woman and that she was beautiful. The princess of Pharaoh also saw her and commended her to Pharaoh.
So all these dudes are out here just like
crushing.
That chick right there.
She's the baddie who just walked in.
She's a baddie. And he's over here like kind of concerned about, getting a mob after him over his dime of a wife.
Could you imagine?
So he's literally denying her.
Could you imagine being with a woman so beautiful and then being like,
just shuts you down.
when we go out in public, though, like, I don't want anybody to beat me up to try to take you, so pretend we're not together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, you've got the blessing of God on your side.
You got the blessing of God on your side. You should be BDE all over this place.
Yeah, you should be fine. You should be stomping in there.
Yeah.
Nobody should be able to tell you nothing.
Nothing.
Come on, man. Princess of Pharaoh also saw her and committed her to Pharaoh, and the woman was taken.
Princess?
Princess of
Even
Pharaoh.
the princess is like, dang.
She is nice.
Whoa, she's got it.
So, she committed her to Pharaoh, and the woman was taken to Pharaoh's house. He treated Abram well for her sake. He had sheep, oxen, male donkeys, male and female servants, female donkeys, and camels. But the Lord plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife. And Pharaoh called Abram and said, "What is this you have done to me? Why did you not tell me that she was your wife?
Oh, shoot.
Why did you say she was your sister? I might have taken her as my wife. Now, therefore, here is your wife. Take her and go away." So Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away with his wife and all that he had. So, right there, all the Pharaoh was like, "Dude, why didn't you tell me you guys were together? What if I tried to marry her?"
All you had to do was say it.
All you had to do.
My G.
That's all you had to say.
Yeah, is very simple. All you had to do was lay claim.
Yeah.
And everything would have been fine. But
that goes
you're
out to the
playing
guys out there.
mind games, bro.
That goes out to the men and the women out there. Claim the one you're with. Don't play games. Don't prance
if you're
around
about it, be about it. If you're not,
no matter what company you're in.
Like, it doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter, like, who it is. If you love somebody, be there for them.
Yeah.
And claim it. And
not manning up to his responsibilities.
That's a big lesson.
Yeah. Anyways. Then Abram went up from Egypt, he and his wife and all that he had, and Lot with him, to the south. Abram was very rich in livestock and silver and in gold, and he went on his journey from the south as far as Bethel to the place where his tent had been at the beginning. So he's right back where he started.
Yeah.
Between Bethel and Ai, to the place of the altar which he had made there first. And there Abram called on the name of the Lord. So at least he had the sense to come back to God.
Yeah, at least he's got that much common sense about him.
Lot also, who went with Abram, had flocks and herds and tents. Now the land was not able to support them, that they might dwell together, for their possessions were so great that they could not dwell together. Mm-hmm. Holding on to too much stuff. Mm-hmm. You can't be hoarding everything like that. The world isn't about your earthly possessions.
The world is not about that. Live within your means.
You got to live in the spirit.
Yes. Amen.
And there was strife between the herdsmen of Abram's livestock and the herdsmen of Lot's livestock, the Canaanites and the Pezerites that dwelt in the land. So Abram said to Lot, "Please let there be no strife between you and me, and between my herdsmen and your herdsmen, for we are brethren. We're all brethren."
Yes.
"Is not the whole land before you? Please separate from me. If you take the left, then I will go to the right, or if you go to the right, then I will go to the left."
Yeah.
Trying to make compromises.
I'm not trying to start problems with you.
I love you.
I love you, bro. It's all good.
Let's just spread out.
Stay out of my sauce.
We can all have some.
And I'll stay out of your sauce.
We can all have some.
Yeah. We can all have the sauce.
Yeah. Dripping in sauce.
Dripping in sauce.
So Abram said to Lot, "Please let me don't say, if you go right, I will go." And Lot lifted his eyes and said, all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered there, everywhere. Before the Lord soon destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. A little foreshadowing.
Yeah, a little foreshadowing.
I don't know if it counts as foreshadowing if you just directly state what's going to happen, but...
Yeah, but you already know everybody...
Forewarning.
Yeah, forewarning. Sodom and Gomorrah is going to get lit
Spoilers,
up.
By the way. Sorry. Like the garden of the Lord, like the land of Egypt as you go towards Zor. Then Lot chose for himself all the plain of Jordan, and Lot journeyed east. And they separated from each other. Abram dwelt in the land of Canaan, and Lot dwelt in the cities of the plain and pitched his tent even as far as Sodom. But the men of Sodom were exceedingly wicked and sinful against the Lord.
Now, one thing I will say before we dive into this. There are different versions and translations of the Bible. Okay? We are reading the New King James Version.
And we plan to go through every different version eventually.
We're
working on. This is just the one we've got with us right now.
This is the one we've got with us right now. Now, here's the thing. There's a lot of controversy about the wording and the ideals within the King James Version as it was revised, quote unquote, or abridged by his scribes under his command. So there is argument about homosexuality and its relationship with these texts that are coming.
And that's not where we're going with any of this.
And we are not expressing our opinions. We're reading the word and we're
just reading the word. We're taking it. He said they're wicked and sinful.
Yes.
We're not the ones we're in no place to judge. We're not the Lord. So we're not going to even...
And we're not even claiming that that's the thing with him.
Yeah.
This is just this version.
Yeah. We're not making any statements about any of that.
Yes.
We're just reading this out and we're having discussions.
That's about as careful as I could say that. So let's go.
Anyways, and the Lord said to Abram, after Lot had separated from him, lift your eyes now and look from the place where you are, northward, southward, eastward, and westward. For all the land which you see, I give to you and your descendants forever. Very Lion King, Mufasa.
Yeah.
Everything that the sun touches, the light touches.
I got you.
Yeah. And I will make your descendants as the dust of the earth, so that if a man could number the dust of the earth, then your descendants also could be numbered.
Yes.
Man, the dust. Y'all know how much dust there is on the earth? You want to count it?
No.
I know. Arise, walk in the land through its length and its width, for I give it to you.
Yes.
Then Abram moved his tent and went and dwelt by the terebinth trees of Mamre, which are in Hebron, and built on an altar there to the Lord. And that ends Genesis 13. Got 14 coming up next.
Absolutely.
What are we looking at? Match up with the other part so we can get a full 10-minute thing, or 20
Absolutely. So, I'll put a little piece of
like
music or something.
Yeah.
All right, so welcome back to Two Guys, One Bible. Where did we leave off?
Right now, we are on Genesis 14.
Genesis 14.
Lot's captivity and rescue.
Yeah.
Let's go, Lot.
Let's get it.
All right. And it came to pass in the days of I'm going to go with Amraphel.
And one more time.
Amraphel.
Amraphel.
Yeah.
Amraphel.
Amraphel, king of Shinar. Arioch, king of Elisar. Chedorlaomer. I'm trying, guys. Chedorlaomer, king of Elam.
King of
Tidal,
Elon.
king of nations. Oh, Tidal, king of nations.
What was his name?
Tidal. Tidal.
Tidal.
King of nations.
Coming in like a tidal wave.
That made war with Bera, king of Sodom, Bersha, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Admah, and Shemember, king of Zeboim.
King of what?
Zeboim.
Zeboim.
Yeah.
All right.
Zeboim. And the king of Bela, that is Zor. Mm-hmm. All these joined together in the valley of Siddim, that is the Salt Sea. 12 years they served Chedorlaomer, and the 13th year they rebelled.
Yeah.
Probably tired of having to say that name all the time.
All the time.
In the 14th year, Chedorlaomer and the kings that were with him came and attacked the Rephaim and Ashtaroth Karnaim, the Zuzim and Ham and Emim and Shava Kirathaim. Okay.
Go. Yeah.
And the Horites in their mountain of Seir, as far as El Paran, which is by the wilderness. I didn't know they had Spanish back then. El Paran.
El.
Then they turned back and came to Mishpat.
Mishpat?
Yeah, that is Kadesh. And attacked all the country. Yeah, Kadesh. They attacked all the country with the Amalekites and also Amorites who dwelt in Hazezon Tamar. And the king of Sodom, the king of Gomorrah, the king of Admah, and the king of Zeboim, and the king of Bela, that is Zor, went out and joined together in battle in the valley of Siddim against Chedorlaomer of Elam. Tidal, king of
Okay.
nations, Amraphel, king of Shinar, and Arioch, king of Elisar. 4 kings against 5. Now
That's some serious warfare.
they were going
In.
This was
In.
Ham, and I'm not talking about Noah's son.
No.
I don't even know where I left off just now. 4 against 5. 4 against 5.
4 against 5. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
That's some World War type.
yeah, I think that was back when these were the main,
Yeah,
like
those
all
were the
9
heavy
kingdoms.
hitters.
All
Those are
9 main kingdoms.
Yeah, those are the heavy hitters.
You're missing Egypt.
Yeah.
And other than that, like, man. Now, the valley of Siddim was full of asphalt pits, and the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled. Some fell there, and the remainder fled back to the mountains. Then they took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all the provisions and went their way. They also took Lot, Abram's brother's son, who dwelt in Sodom, and his goods and departed. Then one who had escaped came and told Abram the Hebrew, for he dwelt by the terebinth trees of Mamre, the Amorite, brother of Eshcol. Yeah, Eshcol, cool. And the brother of Aner, and they were allies with Abram. Now when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed 318 trained servants who were born in his own house and went in to
So
pursue
he
the-
got some goons.
He went Leonidas on it. He went,
Yeah.
I got 318 people. I'm gonna give them some swords.
And we're gonna jack some stuff up.
We're pulling up.
Yeah.
Give me my brother,
Yeah.
my brother's son.
Exactly.
All right. He divided his forces against them by night, and his servants attacked them, and they pursued them as far as Hobah, which is north of Damascus. So he brought back all the goods, and also brought back his brother Lot and his goods, as well as the woman and the people. So he went and saved everybody.
Yeah.
You don't mess with his people like that.
No.
And the king of Sodom went out to meet him in the valley of Shiva, that is King's Valley, after his return from the feat of Chedorlaomer, and the kings who were with him. Please let that be the last time that guy comes up. Abram and Melchizedek, king...
One more time.
Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought out bread and wine. He was priest of God Most High.
Okay.
And he blessed him and said, Blessed be Abram of God Most High, possessor of heaven and earth, and blessed be God Most High, who has delivered your enemies into your hand.
Yeah.
And he gave him a tithe of all. Tithing, very important, if you guys don't know. We'll get into that later. He gave him tithe of all. Now the king of Sodom said to Abram, Give me the persons and take the goods for yourself. But Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have raised my hand to the Lord God Most High, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I will take nothing from a thread to a sandal strap, and that I will not take anything that is yours, lest you should say, I have made Abram rich, except only what the young men have eaten and the portion of men who want with me. Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre, let them take their portion. So he said, no, bro, you're not going to sit there and be like, I made you rich or any of that. So you're keeping all your stuff. All I'm taking is anybody who wants to come with me, and you're going to give them their fair share.
Exactly. And that makes total sense.
Yeah. He's not trying to be big man on campus or
Yeah,
anything.
not trying to flex.
He went and did what he had to do, saved his people,
Exactly.
and then he even said they're free to stay here if they want. I just wanted them safe.
Yep.
But if they want to come with me, you have to let them come, and you have to give them their fair share of the stuff that we brought back.
Yeah.
It's a man of the people.
Seems totally reasonable.
Yeah, I dig it. After these things, this is Genesis 15, by the way.
Yes.
After these things, the word of the Lord came to Abram in a vision, saying, Do not be afraid, Abram. I am your shield, your exceedingly great reward. I am your shield, your exceedingly great reward. That's some comforting stuff to hear, I think. We all hear about the armor of God and stuff like that. We know what we're talking about.
Yeah, and
that.
these are the kind of verses that are out there for people who are
maybe suffering, maybe struggling.
I'm coming from a place of I was purely agnostic, and kind of found a little bit of faith in God in my own way through multiple experiences that I had in my life. So I don't claim to know all the answers or really know how things are the way that they are, but I will say this. in my faith, I see truths within the Bible, within the Quran, within the Torah, which are all really speaking on the same thing.
Yeah.
And I draw similarities with those conclusions in other religious texts as well, that are unrelated to Judeo-Christianity. So when I look at all of these things, I'm looking at all of it relatively, with the people. And I think this is a really prime example of somebody who's genuinely trying to do the right and fair thing is going to have a little bit of that power on his side.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's the right thing. And, earlier in Genesis, it talks about when Eve and Adam eat the forbidden fruit.
Yeah, they had the options between the tree of life, which would have granted them immortality and eternal peace in the garden with God, and they had the option of the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
And before that time, God was the primary decider of what was right and wrong, what was good and evil.
Because he held the perspective to be able to gauge that.
And he knew his perspective was, in a sense, law.
Yeah,
and
we gained the knowledge of good and evil without the perspective to be able to make that judgment.
And when we ate from the tree of knowledge, we took over that perspective. Now that was meant to happen.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that was supposed to happen that way.
I think he would have been fine if it hadn't. I think that if it hadn't was a contingency, but I think he expected it to happen.
He expected it to happen. Where we messed up was trying to lie or hide in shame over our actions. I feel like if humanity had owned its responsibility in that action, God's punishment, so to speak,
would have maybe been less severe.
Would have maybe been, or just different.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
I think it was meant to happen the way it happened, but how we
were punished,
react or acted after the fact is really what the deciding factor was.
Yeah, and I think it's undeniable that even if we had reacted better and maybe his punishment would have been less severe, we were getting kicked out of the Garden of Eden at that point either way.
Yeah,
because as we were discussing before, those two different trees represented two divine aspects, basically. You had the knowledge of good and evil, and you had what equated to immortality and peace.
And when you look at it today, I think the truth remains the same. Our actions are only 50% of the equation.
Yeah.
The other 50% is our behavior after the result of those actions.
Yeah. And God knew we would destroy everything if we had both the knowledge of good and evil without his divine perspective, and we had everlasting life. That wouldn't have worked. He knew as soon as we got the knowledge, we had to be kicked out of the garden because we couldn't have the everlasting life with it.
And when you read through Genesis, one thing you notice is that the lives consistently get the lifespans consistently get shorter and shorter and shorter.
They go up and down a little bit. They go up and down a little bit, but they decline. They're on a decline.
And then the average is like 700 years, and then the average is like 400 years, and then it ends at about 120 years.
Well, that's what God declares once Noah,
which is true to this day, even at the best of medical science. People,
you can get about 120.
They'll get like the oldest. How old is? I'm gonna Google this. How old is the?
I think it's 112.
Oldest person alive.
I think it's like 112.
Is 116 years and 54 days, and the oldest known living living person is aged 117 years, 128 days. So
I wonder how they're doing.
That still holds true to this day.
Yeah.
At 120 years. So anyway, let's continue. Where are we currently? because we got about 5 minutes left.
Okay, let's see here. So, I am your shield, your exceedingly great reward, the Lord said to Abram in a vision. But Abram said, Lord God, what you give me, seeing I go childless? What will you give me, seeing I go childless, and the heir of my house is Eliezer of Damascus? Then Abram said, Look, you have given me no offspring. Indeed, one born in my house is my heir. And behold, the word of the Lord came to him, saying, This one shall not be your heir, but one who will come from your own body shall be your heir. So he said, Don't worry, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. Then he brought him outside and said, Look now toward heaven, and count the stars if you are able to number them. And he said to him, So shall your descendants be. It's powerful.
That is very powerful.
You ever tried to count stars?
There's a lot of them.
Yeah. There's at least 12.
Hold on, I'm gonna look this up. How many stars in the sky? In the visible sky. So it says if you're looking with the naked eye, your personal view at any given time, even though there's obviously way more around the planet,
yeah, of course,
is about 10,000 stars. And that's visible. If in total, in the Milky Way, like,
it's ridiculous.
In the Milky Way, 250 billion, give or take 150 billion.
Woo. All right.
Is what we're guesstimating right now.
Okay, so that's a lot.
Yes, continue.
And I mean,
I love that perspective because people don't really think about how much that means.
Yeah.
All the stars in the sky. Just in our galaxy, we're guesstimating about 250 billion. And there's most likely way more than that.
Yeah. And even if you take it literally as the stars that are visible to a human eye in your field of view.
From any given area is roughly
still
10,000.
Tens of thousands, yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot, homeskis.
Yeah. And he believed in the Lord, and he accounted it to him for righteousness. Then he said to him, I am your Lord, who brought you out of Ur of the Chaldeans to give you this land to inherit it. Stop doubting me.
Stop doubting me.
I done told you.
I done told you.
And he said, Lord God, how shall I know that I will... Boy, I just told you.
Yeah.
How shall I know that I will inherit it? Don't make me smack you.
I'm gonna have to take my rings off. Like, dude, you're acting
pushing
a fool
buttons.
right
pushing
now.
Buttons. So he said to him, bring me a 3-year-old heifer, a 3-year-old female goat, a 3-year-old ram, a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. I'll make this complicated for you if you want. We'll do this whole thing.
Yeah.
I try to just tell you.
I'm about to give you a quest.
Yeah. Then he brought all these to him and cut them in two down the middle and placed each piece opposite to each other. But he did not cut the birds in two. Why? Why'd you start cutting animals in half and then stop at the birds?
Yeah.
That would be the easiest
Well,
ones.
birds are difficult.
They are
Lots
easier,
of little bones.
They are easier to cut in half than a heifer.
Yeah.
And a goat and a ram.
Yeah. That's a lot of stuff.
Anyways, and when the vultures came down on the carcasses, Abram drove them away.
Yes.
Now when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and behold, horror and great darkness fell upon him. Then he said to Abram, know certainly that your descendants will be strangers in a land that is not theirs, and will serve them, and they will afflict them 400 years. And also the nation whom they serve I will judge. Afterward they shall come out with a great possession. Now, as for you, you shall go to your fathers in peace. You shall be buried at a good old age. But in the 4th generation they shall return here, and the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet complete. And it came to pass, when the sun went down, it was dark, that behold, there appeared a smoking oven and a burning torch that passed between those pieces. On the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, to your descendants I have given this land, from the river of Egypt to the great river, the river Euphrates, the Kenites, the Kenizzites, the Cadmonites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, and the Rephaim, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Girgashites, and the Jebusites. And that wraps up Genesis 15.
That wraps up Genesis 15. That's where we're going to stop for today.
It's great to have you guys with us.
Yeah, it's great to have you guys with us. Thank you for tuning in. We will pick up on the next one.
God bless y'all.
And God bless you.